A significant shift is underway in East Africa. Tanzania is restricting the use of foreign currencies, especially the US dollar, for local transactions. This move aims to strengthen the Tanzanian shilling and assert economic autonomy. The regulations, signed by Finance Minister Mwigulu Nchemba, took effect on March 28, 2025. Tanzania seeks to reduce reliance on external financial systems and foster national economic identity. The world watches as Tanzania navigates this bold new era. The new foreign exchange regulations of 2025 are quite specific in their directives. At their heart, they mandate that all prices for goods and services within Tanzania must now be declared and paid for in Tanzanian shillings. This is a fundamental shift. It means that it is now illegal to quote prices, facilitate payments, or accept payments in foreign currencies like the US dollar or the euro for most transactions occurring within the country. The enforcement of these new rules falls under the purview of the Bank of Tanzania. Non-compliance can lead to significant penalties. These may include substantial fines for individuals or businesses found violating the currency regulations. In more serious cases, or for repeated offenses, businesses could even face the suspension of their operating licenses. The message is clear. The era of widespread domestic use of foreign currencies for local trade is over, and the Tanzanian shilling must be respected as the primary legal tender. However, the regulations do acknowledge the complexities of an interconnected global economy. Therefore, certain transactions are exempt from this ban on foreign currency use. For existing contracts that were initially stipulated in foreign currency, the government has provided a transition period. This provision aims to smoothly transition the economy towards the new currency regime while respecting prior commercial agreements, giving businesses time to adjust their financial planning and contractual obligations accordingly. For the ordinary Tanzanian citizen, these new currency regulations will bring about noticeable changes in their daily economic interactions. The most immediate impact is the increased prominence and necessity of using the Tanzanian shilling for all local purchases, whether buying groceries at the market, paying for transportation, or settling utility bills. The shilling will be the required currency. This could foster a greater sense of national pride in their own currency and simplify transactions by removing the complexities of dealing with multiple currencies and fluctuating informal exchange rates. This policy is designed to shield Tanzanians from the volatility often associated with foreign exchange markets. By mandating shilling-based pricing, the government hopes to stabilize domestic prices and protect the purchasing power of its citizens. The long-term goal is to ensure that the economic well-being of Tanzanians is more closely tied to the health of their own national currency. However, there might be initial challenges as the population adapts. The success of this policy in benefiting ordinary citizens will depend on the government's ability to manage the shilling's value effectively. Tourists visiting the beautiful landscapes and vibrant culture of Tanzania will also need to adapt to these new currency regulations. The general rule is that foreign visitors, including those from America or Europe, will need to convert their foreign currency into Tanzanian shillings for most of their local purchases and spending. This means that upon arrival, or through official channels, tourists will exchange their dollars, euros, or other foreign currencies for shillings to pay for meals at local restaurants, buy souvenirs from craft markets, or pay for local transport services like taxis or buses. However, the Tanzanian government has recognized the specific needs of the tourism sector, which is a vital source of foreign exchange for the country. Therefore, there are provisions allowing foreign tourists to still pay in foreign currencies for certain specific services. These typically include major expenses such as hotel accommodations and pre-booked tours. But these payments must be made through approved channels and at official exchange rates. This ensures that while the shilling is promoted locally, the tourism industry can continue to operate smoothly and attract international visitors without undue inconvenience. Tourists will need to plan their finances accordingly, perhaps exchanging larger sums upon arrival, or ensuring they have access to ATMs that dispense shillings. The overall goal is to integrate tourist spending more fully into the formal Tanzanian economy, strengthening the shilling and improving the country's foreign reserve position. Section 5. Echoes of Unity. Tanzania's policy in the Pan-African Symphony. Tanzania's decision to restrict the use of foreign currencies is not an isolated event. It resonates deeply with a broader resurgent Pan-African movement that is sweeping across the continent. This movement calls for greater unity, economic independence, and self-determination for African nations. Tanzania's policy can be seen as one practical step in this direction, a tangible assertion of economic sovereignty that aligns with these wider continental aspirations for a more self-reliant future. The idea is that by working together, African nations can achieve more than they can individually, particularly in navigating the complexities of the global economic and political landscape. Tanzania's move to prioritize its own currency can be interpreted as a building block towards a future where African economies are less reliant on non-African currencies and financial systems, potentially paving the way for stronger intra-African trade and monetary cooperation. Section 6. Voices of a New Generation. Traore, Lumumba, and the call for self-reliance. Across the African continent, influential figures are championing the cause of true independence and economic self-reliance, and their voices provide a powerful context for understanding decisions like Tanzania's. Captain Ibrahim Traore, the transitional president of Burkina Faso, has emerged as a prominent figure in this movement. He advocates for African nations to break free from neocolonial dependencies and to forge their own paths based on their own interests and resources. Another powerful intellectual voice in this discourse is Professor Patrick Lumumba of Kenya. A renowned legal scholar and an eloquent orator, Professor Lumumba has long advocated for deeper African integration and a fundamental rethinking of the continent's relationship with the rest of the world. These leaders and thinkers are articulating a vision that challenges the status quo. Tanzania's currency policy, while specific to its national context, can be seen as an echo of these broader calls for self-reliance. Section 7. Reclaiming the narrative. Africa's long road from exploitation to empowerment. To fully appreciate the significance of Tanzania's currency policy and the broader Pan-African movement, one must understand the deep historical context of Africa's relationship with the world. For centuries, the continent endured the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade, which robbed it of millions of its people and sowed seeds of immense social and economic disruption. This was followed by the era of colonialism, where European powers carved up the continent, imposed foreign rule, and systematically exploited Africa's vast natural resources for their own enrichment. The decision by Tanzania to assert control over its currency can be viewed as a contemporary chapter in this long struggle for self-determination. It is an attempt to dismantle one of the vestiges of economic subservience, the dominance of foreign currencies in the domestic economy. By promoting the Tanzanian shilling, the government is seeking to reclaim a vital tool for economic management and to ensure that the benefits of economic activity accrue more directly to Tanzanians. It represents a conscious effort to break from past patterns of dependency and to forge a new narrative for Africa, one of empowerment, self-reliance, and equitable participation in the global economy, finally taking charge of its own story. Section 8. The Dawn of Economic Freedom. Aspirations and Ancestral Echoes. The current wave of policies aimed at economic self-sufficiency, such as Tanzania's currency reforms, is deeply intertwined with a profound aspiration for true freedom across the African continent. This is not merely freedom in a political sense, which many nations have held for decades, but a more encompassing economic freedom. This aspiration is a powerful undercurrent, driving change and shaping the ambitions of a new generation of Africans who are keenly aware of their history and their potential. This call for economic emancipation is also a tribute to the sacrifices of ancestors. The current generation sees it as their responsibility to build upon that legacy by securing economic liberation. Tanzania's policy, viewed through this lens, is a hopeful step, a testament to the enduring African spirit and its unyielding pursuit of a brighter, more autonomous future guided by the wisdom of the past. Section 9. A Continent at a Crossroads. Global Ripples and Africa's Ascendant Future. Tanzania's bold move to prioritize its national currency sends ripples across Africa and the global economic landscape. This could inspire other nations to reevaluate their currency policies and reliance on foreign financial systems. A trend towards stronger national currencies could foster greater intercontinental trade and investment. Africa's growth potential is immense, and a move towards local currencies would be closely monitored by global powers. Tanzania's policy signals Africa's path towards self-reliance and sovereignty.